What's going on, everybody? I'm sorry, you had to forgive my granddaughter. She's in the background watching her show, so I'm gonna have to try to, record over this. How's everybody doing out there in the writing world? Just the camera a little bit. So talk to you guys.
Do you want to ride?
Got my coffee.
Okay.
Buckeyes. So, just wanted to talk pretty much about, now my last video I put out, I did a video on the pros, the advantages of self-publishing. I said I think I've talked on this channel a lot about it in some older videos. This has been kind of an on and off thing with me, coming back to YouTube, working on books and stuff like that. So I want to try to focus on both and try to get them both together here. So I got some more videos coming for you guys as well too. So let's go ahead and get into our try to, because I'm not trying to scare anybody out of self-publishing. I'm not trying to scare people out of not dealing with the whole publishing thing. These are going to be, like, if you watch these videos, this is just going to kind of give you an idea of what you want to do as a writer. Because people, they get finished with their book. I remember when I got finished with my first book, I ended up going into self-publishing. I didn't even know what it was. I had no idea self-publishing even existed. Just back in 2009. So, I didn't really know how self-publishing would come about or what to do with my book. I always was taught the traditional publishing way. So, and before I knew it, I became a self-published author. So I usually publish my own stuff. I usually hire and outsource people do my covers, things of that nature. I have 3 books published. If nobody caught in the last videos, but I have 3 books published. One through Amazon KDP, one through Lulu, and then I have another one published through, my first book was published through Author House, which was a Vanity Press publisher, which I'll make videos on those as well too, talk about Vanity publishers, kind of give you an idea of that too. So we're going to get into we got into the light side of self-publishing. Now we're going to get to the dark side of self-publishing. So here we go. So your first one here is less editorial support. This is a really big one. Nobody's going to edit your work. That's just how it is. And then, even if you do finish your book, the biggest problem with a lot of self-published books is when they come out, there's no editing done to them. I went to, I can't put her out there anyway. I don't remember the author's name, but I remember I went to a book signing, and it was another self-publisher. I think she did like a sci-fi book or something like that, and I looked at maybe the first page of the book, and it was just riddled with grammatical errors, just riddled with it. So this is an issue that a lot of self-published authors face, and this is whether you don't have the money to hire an editor or whatever, because usually a lot of people just don't have the money to hire editors. But then again, the way I am now, I'm really self-conscious about releasing a book that's not edited. So I think instead I've hired editors outside and stuff like that, and I have a new book I'm trying to release now, and I'm trying to work with an editor on that as well. Excuse me, as well too. I'm gonna go through. We've gone through and done some of my own editing. I use Grammarly when I usually write my books now. Grammarly is actually really good editing tool. There's a free version to Grammarly, and then you have there's a premium price that you pay too. I think the monthly premium is like, if you just pay month to month, it's $30 a month. Or you can do year to year, which is $144 a year, which equates out to $12.50 a month. So you can do it either way like that. I think Scrivener is another one too. I've never used Scrivener before, but I heard Scrivener is actually pretty good too. And that's actually for people who like to build. I know I'm talking about something totally different. It's kind of in the same point. But Scrivener, I think, also does the same thing Grammarly does with the editing, but it also allows you to make like your plan your books out. What do they call it? Doing an outline. Like if you're more of a writer who has to use an outline, Scrivener is another good one too. And I can actually link those in the video below so that way you guys can check them out and see what you think about them. Like I said, I use Grammarly. Grammarly connects to your Microsoft Word document. So all you do is when you have your document open, there's a little Grammarly symbol up there. You click on it, and then it pops up Grammarly, and it checks your work as you're going along. So there's always something there too. But the whole point of this is to say stop, baby. So the whole point of this is to basically tell you that, granddaughter's about to stop the video. But so the whole point of this pretty much is to say, like, you want to edit as much as possible, even if you're a self-published author, because I know like traditional publishers, from my understanding, they actually hire professional editors for you. They just tell you, hey, write the best book that you can write. They don't want a perfect book. Say stop, baby. So they basically, I'm sorry, she keeps trying to push the stop button. She's playful. So pretty much like what you do is, like, when you're writing or editing and stuff like that, you just want to make sure you're putting out a quality book. Again, I checked the first chapter of this woman's book, and her whole first page pretty much was riddled with grammatical errors. And I only read the first page. I didn't even go through the first. I just read the first page. So you don't have like you don't have an editorial team to help you out, like a traditional publisher would. You don't have any backing at all, really. So that's what you pretty much want to do. Like, and this is why a lot of self-publishing books have a bad rap, because a lot of them, they don't look as professional. They're not edited very well. Like when you read some of those self-published books, you're like, oh, this is awful. Yeah, who wrote this? So you just want to be careful with that when publishing books. Yeah, so you definitely want to get a proofreader. You want to do your best editing to smooth out all the cracks that would be in the book. So, and then you also want to get someone to do your outline of the book, basically how the inside of the book looks. I don't have any of my books with me right now. My books are in my room. Otherwise, I'd definitely show them to you. I'm in the living room. But that's just some things you want to look out for. definitely want to check that out. You want to make your book error-free. You want it to look professional as possible. You want the cover to look professional. You want it to look like this is a self-published book. You want it to look as good as a traditionally published book. That's the goal. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so the next one we got is less marketing support. Okay, this is the big one. This is the one I'm currently having issues with myself. Because the thing is, you have to market yourself with self-publishing. When you're self-published, you are self-published. Like, you are your marketing team, you are your editor, you are your proofreader, you're your everything. There is nobody backing you at all. And this is unfortunately, this is what a lot of self-published authors have to be reduced to. So people dogging self-published authors, I don't understand that, because you're lucky enough to get your work out there. There's some authors that have been out there for years, pushing for years to get their books out there. That's why I get upset when a lot of authors come out and say like, oh yeah, you don't need to be self-published, you need to be traditionally published. But the problem is, a lot of these writers out here are trying to get professionally published, and they don't have that luxury. They just don't, man. They don't have the backing. They don't know people. You just happen to be that one guy who was lucky, like you out of a bunch of lottery ticket scratchers, you just happen to get the winning lottery ticket. Like, these other people are still waiting for their chance. So it's like, people who dog self-publishing, you gotta think about that. There's no financial backing. You're not. It's not a big corporation or whatever. It's just you. It's just that person. So it's harder for you to market books. It's harder for you to get books out there. Like me, like, I'm working on a budget myself, so I have to budget what it is that I have to do to market, because some marketing can come up to. I know people who spend like tens of thousands of dollars on marketing. Okay, it's not cheap. Hiring an editor, that's not cheap. Getting your book cover designs done, getting them into bookstores, that stuff is not cheap at all. Publishing your book can cost some stuff if you want it to look even remotely decent, so. You gotta get, reviews. You gotta get people to even read your book, because people don't even know who you are. So, which kind of goes into my third one here. So less acclaim. So what essentially with less acclaim is just like I just said earlier. Nobody knows who you are. You don't have a whole lot of, like, when your book goes live or whatever, not too many people know who you are as an author. So you're not going to get as big of a name. I know I've been writing for a long time, and I still don't have the biggest audience in the world. I really don't have an audience. The only audience I have is the local people that I knew that I shared my stuff with. So you really gotta look at it like that. If you're self-publishing, you have to, of course, use like social media platforms. There's so many social media platforms now. YouTube being one of them, vlogs, whatever. Excuse me. So those are all like all your marketing things, But again, like, that stuff is not really easy, because that's a job in itself too. And of course, you're writing and everything too, but marketing is also a big job in itself. So you have to build your platforms in order to get yourself out there. I was trying to do a book signing a whole nother city from here, and I was trying to get a book signing set up, and they wouldn't even let me do a book signing unless I had a decent author's platform. In other words, a decent following on social media. So you got to build your social media following, and some people won't even publish you until you have a social media following. Like if you got like 1 million followers or something like that, they won't even deal with you. I mean, I won't say a million's pushing it, but I mean, if you at least have like a decent following, maybe like, I know somebody got published with like 70,000 followers, and that's actually really good. You know, just imagine how much money you make if 70,000 people actually bought your novel. That's actually a really good sales number. So, I mean, I'm just saying, you know, like, you know, even 1,000 sales is pretty decent, you know, so you just got to look at it like that as well, too. You know, it has a really bad stigma, of course, so publishing has a huge stigma against it. That's why a lot of bookstores won't publish or won't take in self-published books. At first I thought it was evil that bookstores did that and everything, but I had to really think about it. I had to really sit down and reflect on it too. So I guess like you go to, you know, you don't want to go to a book signing and you know, you're sitting at the table and, you know, tumbleweeds are going by and air's going by and not a single person is coming near you, you know, so that's it's a bad look. But the thing is you want to make sure, okay, so get back on track. So that's the reason why bookstores won't carry people's books, because the biggest thing is if you're not, especially if they see you're not pulling anybody at book signings or nothing like that, because what's going to happen is their books, they're going to sit on the shelves. So say that we're like maybe like 1,000 of your books, they sit on the shelf. That's just going to take an inventory, and they don't have time to go through that and deal with that. And now that's just loose inventory. They have to figure out what they're going to do with all those books that don't sell. You can't even sell one copy of a book. So I mean, that might be an issue, you know, because I mean, I was lucky to, you know, go to smaller bookstores and have my books sitting on the shelves there, probably like a couple of books here and there, but like brick and mortar stores, Barnes and Noble, I don't think Borders is around anymore. I think Borders went under. I think Borders is gone. But you know, Barnes and Noble, Amazon, some other big bookstores. There's not too many big bookstores now I think about it anymore. That's new. Barnes and Noble, Borders.